I've had patients do a watermelon challenge with me. When you see the word cultured, that means there's been bacterial fermentation. We put it in the blender. Oh, Happy New Year to me. I'm Dr. Stephen Gundry. Welcome back to another episode of Gut Instincts. Today we'll be jumping into the topic of foods that are best for fitness. Many of us have resolutions and goals to eat healthier and to get in shape around this time of year. A few weeks into the new year and already slipped up, it's totally okay. The important thing is to get back on track, and that starts with a healthy gut-friendly diet. I'll be ranking these fitness foods from S to F. Now, S stands for superfood, and F means it belongs in the trash. Before we get into it, make sure to hit that subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up if you're ready to help improve your gut health. Also, be sure to stick around afterwards. I'll be sharing my protein shake recipe after we rank these fitness foods. Let's begin. First up, I am amazed how often I see this being touted as a health food for fitness. A plant-based protein powder. Just yesterday, I got an exciting email from a food specialist telling me about this exciting, perfect for you plant-based protein powder, gushing about how wonderful it was. The first ingredient is pea protein. Peas are part of the legume family, and they have some of the highest lectin content of any food. Why are pea proteins, which are so bad for you, being touted as a health food? I'll tell you why. They are incredibly cheap. Now, there is a savior in pea protein. If you see the words pea protein isolate, or even soy protein isolate, or for that matter, any bean protein isolate, good news, the lectins have been removed. So you have to be a very clever consumer, and you gotta read the label. If it says pea protein, that is one of the best ways to damage your gut and your fitness workout that anybody has ever invented. All right, well, you go, I don't want those plants anyway. I want whey protein powder. Remember, dairy essentially has two proteins, casein and whey. And there's a lot of talk in the fitness industry about which is better for building muscle. And actually, papers are quite mixed. Some vote for casein, some vote for whey. The important thing is, where did this whey come from? Number one, if it came from grass-fed, grass-finished cows, or if it came from goats and sheep, that's better for you than regular old whey. But warning, if you're one of those people that you think dairy doesn't agree with me, you're more than likely to react to the whey and whey protein. Yes, it is pretty good, but I'm going to give it a C because I just see so many of my patients react to whey. Be careful. So you say, okay, well, maybe whey isn't all that good for me, but casein might be the answer. And I'm going to grab cottage cheese, curds and whey. Curds are the cheese part of dairy. Whey is what's literally left over in the water. Most of our cottage cheese in America is made from American cows that have casein A1. And casein A1 is a real lectin-like mischief-making protein. And I have so many patients that do react to casein A1. There is a little bit of a workaround. It turns out that if you ferment casein, then the casein is broken into smaller molecules, and you may not react to it. How would you know? You can actually look for cultured cottage cheese. When you see the word cultured, that means there's been bacterial fermentation of the casein. I'm gonna give cottage cheese a B, but if you can find, and it's available, cultured cottage cheese, it'll move up the list. Greek yogurt with granola. I got bad news for everybody. Greek yogurt does not come from Greece. Greek yogurt merely refers to the fact that some of the water in yogurt is allowed to drip out, concentrating the yogurt for thickness and more protein. But bad news, it came from American cows. Now, if you want to avoid that problem with casein A1, the best options are goat yogurt and sheep yogurt, and those have casein A2. And good news, plain goat yogurt and plain sheep yogurt don't have any sugars. What about the granola? I mean, that's healthy for you. Well, if you wanted to get goat yogurt or sheep yogurt, the last thing you want to do is put granola on it, because granola is mostly oats and sugar. And sad but true, almost all of our oats in the United States are sprayed with Roundup, and even organic oats actually contain Roundup. Greek yogurt with granola is another F. Sorry about that. How about a protein bar? That sounds like a good option. Once again, buyer beware. A great number of protein bars are made from whey or casein protein. There's a lot of new ones that are made from plant proteins, primarily pea or soy, so you've got to read the label. Great number of protein bars use sugar as one of their main ingredients. A great number of the protein bars that are, quote, sugar-free or low sugar or paleo or keto use sucralose as their sweetener. And sucralose is Splenda. And if you want to kill off your gut buddies, that's the way to go. We're beginning to see protein bars with allulose as a sweetener. They're starting to appear, so stay tuned. If you're going to look for a protein bar, look for allulose. But most of the protein bars are real mischief makers. Sorry. How about peanut butter? Well, peanut butter, that's a great source of protein. Sorry, folks, peanuts are one of the highest lectin-containing foods there are. And I can't tell you the number of my patients who react to the lectins in peanuts. Peanuts are not a health food. They are a bean. They're not a nut. Peanut butter is down there. Chocolate milk. Milk does a body good, right? Let's realize that milk is mostly sugar. Sugar has been added to chocolate milk to make it taste even better. Sad news. I can assure you that you are not a baby cow. Cow milk was designed to make baby calves grow rapidly. And it's loaded with insulin-like growth factor and growth hormones. And you see, not treated with growth hormones. That doesn't matter. Mom puts growth hormone in her milk to make the baby cow grow. This is basically sugar with growth hormone, and you don't want it either. How about a hard-boiled egg? I've released lots of information about how to choose an egg. If at all possible, get eggs from pastured chickens. You can also really look for pastured soy-free chicken eggs. If you can't find those, don't be fooled by cage-free and free-range. The safest of the non-pastured ones are the omega-3 eggs, where the chickens are usually fed flax seeds and or algae. So those are the safest. So this is actually a pretty good deal, except a ton of my patients with leaky gut react to either or the whites or the yolks of eggs. So as much as I like them, I've found through the years that eggs are way up there on the food sensitivity scale. So I'm going to give it a break. I'm going to give it a B, but it's not the superfood that most people think it is. How about salmon? Salmon is great for you with one proviso. The vast majority of salmon that you're going to find for purchase is farmed raised. And it'll actually say usually Atlantic salmon. While it is true, there are wild Atlantic salmon. If you see the word Atlantic salmon, I can pretty much guarantee you it's farm raised. If you see the word organic salmon, I can guarantee you it's farm raised. Why? What they do is feed their organic salmon, organic corn, and organic soybeans. And that's not what you want. When you feed salmon grains and beans with the omega-6 fats, they no longer convert as much of the fats into omega-3, which is what you want, and instead become an inflammatory nightmare. Look for the word Alaska salmon. By law, Alaskan salmon has to be harvested wild. Canada does not have the same law. So if it says Canadian salmon, buyer beware. It's most likely farm raised. Proper wild salmon is really one of the great superfoods that you can put on your plate. Tuna. Here's the good news, bad news. Tuna in cans are young tuna that have very little or almost negligible mercury. Big tuna have a lot of mercury. They're upper level predators and they concentrate mercury in their flesh. Fatty tuna is just loaded with mercury. So next time you go sushi eating, be wary of fatty tuna. But small tuna that you're actually going to make tuna salad out of are pretty safe. Most of the time you're going to use regular mayonnaise. Do yourself a favor and use any of the new avocado-based mayonnaises that are out there, and it'll actually become a really good food for you. Plus, you're probably going to put a little celery in there, maybe some parsley, and add some nice fiber to that salad. So proper small tuna with avocado mayonnaise can be a real superfood. Watermelon. Everybody knows that watermelon is great for you. It's packed with all that kind of red, super polyphenol, not so fast. Watermelon is mostly sugar. That's why we like it so much. I've had patients do a watermelon challenge with me to show me how good watermelon is for them. And I've caught them every time. Their triglycerides go up, their insulin resistance goes up, their insulin goes up, all from doing a watermelon challenge with me. Watermelon is not your fitness health food. Sorry. Let's go back to maybe protein sources, rice and beans. Hey, it's the new year. You got to have black-eyed peas and maybe some rice. The problem with rice and beans are that, yes, there's a bit of protein in rice. There's a bit of protein in beans, but they're mostly sugar. And the last thing you want in your fitness regimen is sugar with sugar. So it's also an F. Plus, beans, unless prepared properly, are loaded with lectins. You can pressure cook beans, and there are several companies that make pressure cooked beans. They're easy to find. On the same subject, edamame is merely boiled soybeans. Boiling does not remove lectins from soybeans. Soybeans in the form of edamame are also incredibly mischievous. And we used to have a D. I guess it's now going to be an F in here. Edamame is not a health food. How about a chicken breast? Chicken breast gets a good word because it's mostly protein. The problem is chicken is no longer what a chicken used to be. Chickens are supposed to eat bugs and grass and bring those bugs and grass into their flesh. Now, sadly, most of our chickens are fed corn and soybeans. I want you to look for pastured chicken. Organic chicken means that they were fed organic corn and organic soybeans. Pastured chicken means they went out and ate what they were supposed to eat. And check with your farmer. Pastured doesn't mean they aren't fed grains. Some of the really good ones don't. Chicken breast, I'm going to put it in the B category because a chicken is not a chicken anymore. Protein chips, buyer beware. So many of the protein chips out there are made from pea or soy or other legume proteins. There are Parmesan cheese-based chips. There are whey-based protein chips. They're really hard to find, but please look at the label very carefully. Most of these are not worth your while. If you can find a good one, I'll put it in the C category. Okay, it's time for a quick quiz. Here are 2 facts and 1 lie about protein. Can you guess which one is the Lie. Number 1, protein is derived from the word proteos, a Greek word which stands for primary or standing in front. Number 2, the word protein has been around since 1883. Number 3, canned tuna is not a good source of protein. And if you've been paying attention, you're going to get this one. The answer is 3. And if you caught the Gut Instincts episode on protein, you learned all about how canned tuna is one of the best sources of protein. All right, let's get back to the list. Oh, oatmeal, that is so great for everybody. Not. As you know, my oldest daughter is a horsewoman, and she assures me that the only purpose for oats is to fatten horses for winter. We use grains to fatten animals, and that ought to tell us what grains do for us. Sadly, as you probably know, both Consumer Reports and the Environmental Working Group tell us that almost all oat products, including many organic, are loaded with glyphosate, Roundup, and also an insecticide that's banned by the EPA, and yet it's in every available oat product. So oats, F. Protein pancakes. It's almost an oxymoron. Unfortunately, even if you add a scoop of protein powder to a pancake mix, you're still getting a load of sugar and wheat or other flours that are actually not going to be great for you. Yeah, does it blunt the effect of the sugar? A bit, but it's still sugar. There are protein-based pancakes that you can use that are very low in sugar, but also read the label very carefully, because some of these paleo pancakes are not what they seem, and the sugar content is surprisingly high. There are keto pancakes that are much safer, but again, read the list of ingredients. Some of the keto pancakes out there are unfortunately loaded with pea or soy protein. So that's going in the F category as well. Protein cookies. Same story here. Just adding protein to a cookie doesn't make it a health food. There are keto-based protein cookies, but again, buyer beware. Read the ingredient list. So just because the label says protein cookie, or you look on the back and you see a lot of protein, don't be fooled. Look at the total carbohydrates and look at the artificial sweetener that goes into it. And so many of these protein cookies are sweetened with sucralose, Splenda. And you know how bad that is for your gut. So sorry, most of the wonderful protein cookies are in the F as well. How about celery? Celery is one of those interesting negative foods. It actually takes more calories to chew and digest celery than you're actually going to get from the celery itself. So it's actually a negative food. Celery has some benefits in that it's a great way of getting a good food into you. For instance, as a dipping thing for your tuna salad. Or if you can find a nut butter other than peanut butter, it's a great way to deliver a nut butter into your mouth. One word of warning, there is such a thing as celery picker's disease. Yes, there is such a thing. Celery has so many nasty compounds that celery pickers get burns on their hand. And I get a chuckle every time I see someone saying how great celery juice is for you. If you want to burn the inside of your esophagus, have yourself a big glass of celery juice. I'm actually going to give it a B. No, I'm going to give it an A. Because used properly, celery is a great addition to your diet. Bananas. If I see another person peel a banana at the gym, I may have to grab it out of their hand quickly. Bananas, when they're ripe, are virtually pure sugar. And the last thing you want during a workout is sugar. You want to be using free fatty acids and ketones during your workout. Now, it's fine if after the workout you want to add a little bit of sugar plus protein. That's the way to get protein into your muscles. But starting your day with a banana, unless it's a green banana, which is mostly fiber, bananas are not on your regimen for great health for the new year. How about a fruit smoothie? Now, don't get me started. Let me just assure you that even the glucose goddess thinks that a fruit smoothie mainlines sugar.
Now, the problem arises when you denature that piece of fruit.
Bingo.
Right? You smoothie it, you pulverize the fiber particles, you juice it, you remove the fiber entirely, you dry it, you remove the water, etc., etc. Then you're just concentrating the sugar molecules. And it doesn't matter if those sugar molecules came from an orange and are in orange juice, or if they came from a beetroot and are in a can of Coca-Cola. To your body, it's the same molecules.
But wait a minute, it's fruit. Here's the problem. It's okay to eat fruit in season because it is encased in fiber and it will take you a while to eat that. But if you pulverize that fruit into fine particles, you dissociate the fiber from the sugar so that you can actually really raise your blood sugar quickly with a fruit smoothie. Plus, half the fruit smoothies I see have milk or yogurt and other sweet things. That smoothie really shouldn't be part of your healthy regimen. On the other hand, a green smoothie in which you've added an avocado is right up there on some of the best things that you can have for fitness and health. And you can add a proper plant protein powder with an isolate or hemp powder or hemp hearts or hemp seeds and get yourself the protein, the fats, and the fiber and the polyphenols from the leaves, and you've got a great option for really good health in the new year. So green smoothie goes up. Finally, everybody talks about how great quinoa is. It's a wonderful high-protein pseudo grain. Not so fast. The Incas used quinoa. This much is true. Incas didn't just eat quinoa. They didn't boil quinoa. They let quinoa rot. They fermented the quinoa. Once it was fermented and rotten, then they cooked it. Why did they do that? It's because fermentation breaks down the lectins in lectin-containing foods, and quinoa is loaded with lectins. If you really want to eat quinoa, then get yourself a pressure cooker. Pressure cooking will destroy the lectins in quinoa, but that's a lot of work for a not-so-healthy grain. Pressure-cooked quinoa will give it a C because, sadly, it still has a lot of carbohydrate. So now for a quick recap. Let's see what we got. We got some superfoods. We got wild salmon. We got canned tuna, and in this case, it's tuna salad, and you're gonna make it with avocado mayonnaise, and you're gonna put some celery from here in there, and whatever other spices you want. And we've got a green smoothie that has an avocado, maybe some hemp hearts, green leafy vegetables, and you've got a pretty doggone good food. Celery, great way to get that into your mouth. Cottage cheese is a B. It could go all the way to the F, but you got to look for cottage cheese that's fermented or cultured. Same way with eggs. Get the pastured eggs or the omega-3 eggs. Same way with chicken. Luckily, we're beginning to see more pastured chicken in stores. Even Trader Joe's now sells pastured chicken. But regular store-bought chicken, buyer beware. I'll add one more thing. If your chicken comes shrink-wrapped in plastic, the endocrine disruptors like phthalates are stuck onto the chicken. So please try to buy your chicken from the butcher and have them wrap it in butcher paper. All these lovely protein powders, all the edamame, the oatmeal, the protein pancakes, Greek yogurt isn't from Greece, the protein bars, peanut butter, please. It is so bad for your gut. Protein cookies, beware, watch for the sweetener. A banana is not a health food. Chocolate milk is milk with more sugar added. beans and rice, still mostly carbohydrates, and a fruit smoothie. Once you break these things apart, then you are able to absorb all that fructose that normally might not have gotten into you that quick. And that is my gut instinct. Now, I want to share one of my go-to protein shakes that is a great staple to include in your New Year health goals. Not only is it good for you, it's actually really tasty. So all you'll need is 1 scoop of ProPlant Complete Shake, 1.5 cups of unsweetened coconut milk, a teaspoon of pure vanilla extract, 2 tablespoons of my polyphenol-rich olive oil, ice cubes, and a blender. First, you'll take 1 scoop of ProPlant, and believe it or not, there's chocolate or vanilla. Today we're having chocolate. Next, you add 1.5 cups unsweetened coconut milk. Now 1 teaspoon of pure vanilla extract, 2 tablespoons of my polyphenol-rich olive oil. We're only making 1 glass, so a few ice cubes. If it's too thin, you can always add some more, but if you add too many, it'll be too thick, but you can add some water. We put it in the blender. That ought to do it. And pour it in a glass. Yeah, that's about the right amount of ice. Perfect measurement on the ice, if I do say so myself. And you've got a protein shake with olive oil. That combo can't be beat. Cheers to great gut health. Oh, Happy New Year to me.